All right, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, we are running behind schedule. We had a few technical difficulties at first, but there's an even bigger issue now because Kent Hovind is, to this point, a no-show. We had him on the phone for a little bit. There were some technical issues on his end. And then a few minutes ago, when we called and we had everything resolved, I was informed that Kent was under the impression that we were rescheduling and had went off to another program.
So let me just jump in and ask a question about that. So we scheduled this thing for 7 o'clock Eastern, his time, and he was fully aware of that. And he somehow had already scheduled another show for
my thoughts exactly
30 minutes later.
Yeah, I'm not sure how quite that worked out. There's no possible way that he would have rescheduled another show. I was talking to Steve, his IT guy, and I made it very clear to him that we're going to be switching over to a Hangout. Just give us a few minutes to set it up. He couldn't figure out how to get into Skype, so we decided to simplify for him.
Couldn't figure out how to get into Skype.
Yeah, I guess they were waiting for it to evolve.
But had they tried prayer?
You know what? The prayer failed then because I don't.
I've been doing that since 6:30 today.
Skype,
since 6:30 today, that's where we've been rolling.
It's been one thing after another.
I find it interesting that whenever I said that we weren't using Skype anymore, that we were switching over to Hangouts, it went from he has another program that he's doing to, well, it'll probably last 20 minutes. Send me the link and we'll jump in as soon as he gets finished. So number one,
so his original plan was to do the show with us at the top of the hour and then 30 minutes later bail to another show. That's
apparently.
He never said anything like that to us.
Did someone tell him that this was going to be a 30 minutes?
Hell no. No.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah. What I think it is I think it's related to cold feet. I think that the moment caught up with him, he saw an easy out, and
I would love to take credit for something like that, but I can't. I really can't, because the guy's entire MO is that it doesn't matter that all the facts are wrong. All that matters is that you remain confident. You just have to seem confident. And that's really all that it is. That's why in that debate with Bill Ludlow, he was telling Ludlow, "Oh no, it's you that doesn't understand." The fuck, Kent Hovind knows anything about paleontology? Of course, Ludlow understood his own field of study, and Kent Hovind didn't. It's all about being confident, right? And then there's the persecution thing. If you're not being persecuted, you're not Christian. So he has no excuse for not being here. It's not that he's chickening out. No, I can't believe that somebody who follows the MO that he does would have chickened out. Much as I'd like to take that kind of, compliment, I can't buy that. That's not.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case either.
But what's the deal with the? So then he must be lying about the other program. I mean, that's the only logical.
I wouldn't accuse Kent Hovind of lying.
I mean, it makes no sense. The build up to this and the dramatic arc that this has taken, anybody with half of a brain would have to realize that we are not going to have a 30-minute conversation on the two best evidences for evolution. It's just not going to happen.
Is uncountable. Stop saying evidences.
Yeah, evidence.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not going to be 30 minutes. Why you would plan another program, which is what he referred to as a program. Now, let's be clear. I don't think there's another program at all. I think that this was another way to get out of. Almost to me, it feels like honestly, it feels like he was riding kind of that wave of momentum, and he got what he needed out of it, and he's just kind of, I'm good now.
I'm not sure I agree with that. I think it more was probably on the lines that they didn't want to admit they couldn't figure out how to do something simple like Skype.
Yeah, that is far more likely.
And I made it very clear. I was in conversation with our IT guy. I set up the Skype thing. Holy Kool-Aid figured it out. You figured it out. Aron figured it out. I figured it out. Not that complicated kind of stuff. So,
in all fairness, I didn't have anything to figure out. I just had to wait for the link.
Yeah, we dragged you in the call. I mean, it's not rocket science. So
Well, I literally added all of you into the call in exactly the same way. So unless he has a super outdated version of Skype from like 2007, then it really shouldn't have been too hard to click on a notification and join the call.
I'm roboting for a sec. I'm gonna hit F5. I won't stop the broadcast. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just gonna F5 real quick. Cool.
All right.
So Aron, while we wait, I guess, to see if the Great One will join us, why don't you kind of walk us through? Let's address the debate issue, because that was a big contentious issue that he referred to it as a debate.
Yeah, well, a debate. I'll put it to you this way, and I really don't want to say anything without my quarry here, as it were.
Sure, I understand that.
But really, the point is that in a debate you have two people giving equal time presentations, trying to speak past each other to convince a third party, the audience. And I'm really here to address the man himself. So if he wants to, I understand the way you've got it set up is he does his presentation. I don't need to do one.
Right.
But he does his presentation and I explain what's wrong with that. So, I mean, I would just be doing rebuttal and I would be explaining both to the audience what he's doing, but I need to be able to explain to him that we all know what he's doing too. So it's, until he's here, I don't have a lot to say.
Understood. Yeah, and we are working on that. I'm in back and forth with the IT guy. So we wanted to give you guys an update on kind of what's going on, and that we are still tentatively expecting Kent to come through. It's just going to be a few minutes behind. So
somebody, I want to address some comments I'm seeing in the chat, since we've got time to do that at the moment. Sure. Somebody put down personal attacks. Well, we've already had some personal attacks, but this conversation, hopefully, and if I have anything to do with it, will remain on the topic. Now, I don't expect that to be his ploy, and we do have to address some of that to begin with. And he's already made a comment to the effect that he wants to. He doesn't want to take that same road to start with, but we'll see what he does. But really, I do want to stay to the topic as much as possible.
Sure. I agree. I think we both know how that's going to go, but it's a good starting place at least.
Does anyone know if he's broadcasting from his Kenneth Hovind official channel? He said he has another program. I don't know what he's referring to. I mean, I thought he cleared his schedule out specific for this. We did not say it was only going to be a 30-minute discussion. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. And so I don't know if he's broadcasting or what he's doing. I did send the link to his IT guy. I have not received confirmation from him, however. A little disconcerting. I don't know what they're actually doing. So if anybody has any information, I don't go over to Kent's channel. I don't watch his channel, so I don't know if he's broadcasting. But if somebody happens to go check it out, maybe they can leave something in live feed telling them we're ready. Kent, come over.
Steve, I'm gonna step out and take this call real quick.
Well, right. Steve, you've hosted debates with him before in the past, like the one with King Crocoduck and others, and those have been at least 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they run 90 minutes to 2 hours.
I've given a single answer to a single question that took 25 minutes.
Yeah. No, whenever I have Ken on before, I've had him like 8 or 9 times. Minimum is going to be 90 minutes with Ken, and usually try to go between 90 and 2 hours, and that's for logistics purposes. People don't tend to watch stuff after 2 hours, and it is a lot to take. You have to sit for 90 minutes or 2 hours for these discussions and stuff like that. So for him to think there's only a 30-minute thing, there's no possible way, because these are the two heavyweights. These are something that people wanted to see. You have Aron, who's a leading person in the atheist skeptic community, somebody who's extremely knowledgeable on phylogenetics and biology and evolution. And then you have Kent, who's been putting forth his creationist narrative for how many decades now. I mean, this was something that I think a lot of people were looking forward to seeing. Kent knows this. Kent would actually had told me, and this is not a private conversation, this is something that's public, but Kent had actually said, well, who's Aron, kind of thing. And it's like, wait a minute, don't play this game with me that you don't know who Aron Ra is.
No, I would believe that he really didn't.
He did. He just mentioned you like a couple of weeks before for some reason.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, your name comes up and other people's name come up. He's mentioned, he didn't know who King Crocoduck was, but he mentioned him like a couple of weeks before I had the debates with him. So I don't really know what to believe when he says these things. I give him the benefit of the doubt, but neither here nor there. He knew that this was going to be at least 90 minutes, 2 hours, just from previous conversations we've had, previous interactions we've had, previous debates and discussions that we've had, that he knew this discussion, which, by the way, we did not tell him it was a debate by any stretch of the imagination, should have taken at least 90 minutes. So what he's doing right now, I do not know.
I mean, and I understand that he's using different definitions than I do. We'll explore that a little bit more because he uses different definitions for everything than I do. But his term of debate is, two people in a different, in opposing positions in an argument, essentially.
Yeah, I don't use that definition myself.
Yeah.
The interesting thing too to point out is probably an hour and a half before we were scheduled to broadcast at 5:30, I think it was. We did an initial call to let him know what Skype name to use, and he asked me the direct question of, how long are you expecting this to go? And I said probably an hour and a half, maybe a little over. Okay, good. That's good. That's the answer that I got.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew that this was going to be a 90-minute at least conversation. So where this mystery program came from is anyone's fucking guess at this point.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. It's like I said, it's a little disconcerting because I've never had really an issue with getting arrangements with Kent. It usually goes pretty smooth, and I've actually ever had issue with Aron either. Usually have no issues.
How did you do these shows before? Which format?
Just with the hands like this, for the most part.
Why did you decide to go to Skype?
Yeah, Kyle, wasn't it with Aron? I'm assuming did Kent suggest that, or I don't know?
That was me. Okay. I liked the. I think in a discussion like this, where especially with Hangouts, when someone's talking, the face that's talking pops up. So when it's a bunch of back and forth, you get, everybody popping up, and it's really kind of hard to follow. So I like this separate,
And you also can record the chat as well. I mean, we had a discussion yesterday. We had Dr. Kenny Rhodes with Dr. Richard Carrier, and we did it via Skype, and it was smooth. It was flawless. They understood how to get into the Skype. We set it up properly. Everything was fine on our end. The audio was great. So
actually, Dr. Rhodes,
Kent seems to be
just sent me a message.
What's that, Kyle?
Dr. Rhodes just sent me a message saying that I should play the role of the young Earth creationist now.
Didn't you used to be one? I don't know.
I did, yes.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
Well, are you drunk yet?
I'm about to be.
Okay.
I'm fortunate. I never went through that phase. I was a theist, as Aron knows. He has a similar background. We're both baptized Mormon, but I have never been a young Earth creationist. And in fact, I didn't even know young Earth creationism even existed till probably the mid or early 90s. And I was like, are you kidding? Is this a legit thing? It was like first time I found out about flat Earth. It was like, really? This is legit.
It's a funny story because me and my cousin were talking yesterday, and I was letting him know, that we were having Kent and Aron on because he follows the debates. He's a Calvinist, but we had actually really good conversation, and he was reminding me, I had forgotten about it, but my grandma used to play Kent Hovind's tapes when we were younger. Like we grew up watching his his creation tapes. I had completely blocked that out of my memory or something, but I had no recollection of that. But he knew in and out the whole entire argument of Hovind.
There's not really that much to know. I was surprised when I watched his debate with Ludlow that he was still trotting out the same nonsense from 20 years ago.
Yep. And it's so in the age of information, I think it's so disingenuous on some level that can even still be a thought. Like there's no way that the Earth is 6,000 years old. It's just.
Well, the big thing was looking.
This I can say because I mean this isn't going to come as a surprise to Kent or any of his followers. This is all about make believe. Okay, it really is about pretending, convincing yourself. You've probably heard it described as fake it till you make it. So these things only exist if you believe that they exist. So you have to convince yourself, and so that it really doesn't matter. It really does not matter what the facts are. And I have had believers tell me this again and again and again, that they don't care what the truth is. Why can't they believe what they want to believe? Honestly, that's it.
I'm sorry. I just think that is an unacceptable position to hold. Like,
But that's what it comes down to. So we have a division between two extreme modes of thought, and I realize there's a lot of people that will sit in the bell-shaped curve between these. But at the extremes, we have people who have a deep-seated emotional need to believe, and they will knowingly lie to themselves in order to convince themselves of something that they know is not true. And I've had Christians multiple times admit to me that they know that what they believe is not true, but they're going to believe it anyway. And I'm not kidding. But then all the way over on the other side of the scale, we have those who have only a desire to understand. Now, if you're going to try to be a purist, then you're going to be completely rational in this position, and nobody is completely rational. We all have.
that's true.
Yeah, I treat my motorcycle with a certain debt of gratitude for having served me so well over the years, even though it's a machine. Okay, that's an irrational position. I realize that. We all have that somewhere. Okay, but that's what the extremes are. And I hope that makes sense to some people. In order for us to understand or improve our understanding of reality, the first criteria is that the things that we allow ourselves to believe must be true. And if we find out that we believe something that is not true, well, we want to know if what we believe is not true. If you can show me that what I believe is not true, I will thank you for correcting me. And I would rather it be sooner than later. I don't care if I'm called out on stage in front of a huge audience and corrected then. If I'm actually wrong, then I can stop being wrong. Thank you.
I just got an email from Steve, by the way. Do you want me to? I'm at a loss for words. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've never ran into issues like this before.
Oh, let's hear it.
This is strange. Let me. Yeah, this is really weird. Maybe you can parse this out for me, Kyle or Aron. Explain to me what the hell this means, because we had set this up. This is what I got as a response, and this is from 5 minutes ago. He says, this is from their IT department, and I asked him if I could read the email. He said, brother, he can't connect. His signal is not existent at camp. When he usually does these quote debates, I don't know, again, I hate using that word because it's not a debate. He comes to my office. I didn't know about the debate till 90 minutes prior, and I went to camp instead of him coming to me. Sorry about the mix-up. His signal is not existent at the camp, and his IT guy didn't know about this until 90 minutes prior.
And yet they did a show about it 3 days ago.
Yes,
where
exactly.
He talked to his IT guy, and they talked about how poor their signal is, and so that wouldn't allow them to show slides.
Right. I watched that. You got a video on that.
Email him back and ask him if his phone still works. We'll get him on the phone.
I'm trying to arrange
we
something
only need
now.
audio.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody, I can turn my camera off if it were to help. I mean, everybody knows what I look like when I'm hideous anyway, so it's fine.
I'm completely done with that. I don't want him trying to.
I'm working on it. I'm definitely working on it.
Out of this, he agreed to it, and he needs to commit. I mean, that's
don't hold him like that. The audience, the other people will hold him to that. There will be another opportunity like this.
Am I the only one that's picturing him like 5 minutes before going live, like turning to his IT guy and going like, wait a minute, you mean the banana isn't the atheist nightmare?
Wrong.
Quick, get Ray Comfort on the phone.
With Ray Comfort the other day. Ray Comfort said something, and I had Shannon Q go, Steve, you can let him talk to you like that? I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm like, it is on. So I was like waging war against Ray there for a while.
I will be game if this ever comes up again. And I'm hoping there will be another opportunity. I don't think that Kent Hovind chickened out from me. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he did either.
Does not play with his MO.
No.
Okay, so there's that. We will do this again. But I will tell you that I'm gonna have to go out and get me something to eat, because I haven't eaten all day because I'm hungry, because I thought I was going to be dining on red meat tonight.
Yeah.
On Kent beef.
I completely. I mean, to say that he didn't chicken out. I see where you're coming from, but also why these little things are adding up to something else. Because Steve just read in his email that his IT guy didn't know until 90 minutes before the debate that he was even having one. So. Where is that coming from? Because obviously that's not the case, because like you said, the other day which is what stemmed the whole entire the video back and forth going on, was him saying on his show, his Q&A show, that he had this debate coming up. So
Right.
in what world are
He
they
made
trying to?
3 videos. People showed me. They sent me links
Yeah.
to show 3 different videos he'd made to his people. And he might have made more. I'm only aware of 3, but he made 3 different videos talking about this. And he had the schedule. You know, this
Right.
time is allotted for this. He did not, in any of those videos that I can remember, say, and then 30 minutes after that, we're going to be doing this other show. I don't think that happened.
That's that's one point. The second point is the lie that the guy didn't know about it until 90 minutes before the debate. Everyone knew. Everybody on, you know, this within this kind of community on YouTube knew this was happening.
We have 500 people watching. Yes, they knew. This was
Like,
not news to anybody. This
is not
for how long
shocking.
now?
It doesn't, I don't think, shed light very well in the you know, his word or the Christian camp almost. That
I will address one other thing that was brought up, since, you know, since at least some people are still paying attention. Hovind demanded from you guys proof that I had changed my name.
Right.
Yes, he did.
Because somehow, looking up at Wikipedia's article on me, which is the first source most people go to, that said I changed my name.
Right.
He can't find any evidence of that. I ran for state senate under this name, and so he can't find any evidence of that. Really?
That was still going on
And
today.
so, what evidence does he need? What evidence do I have? What proof can he give me that he wasn't born with the name Emily? Do I need to demand?
It's so irrelevant too, but yes, he did ask that.
That was not his name. If he tells me that's his name, I'm going to take that's what his name is. I'm not just going to throw out some other name just for the hell of it.
How is that even relevant to the
It
argument?
isn't.
Right.
Because he made 3 different videos where he pretends to misunderstand my name and then uses the wrong name.
Yeah, calling him Aron.
Right. So he knows that so he finds a name that I had years ago that was given to me by somebody else and I haven't used for years. So in all fairness, if he's going to use a name that was given to me instead of by me and that I haven't used for years, then I should use a name that was given to him that he hasn't used for years. So I'm going to refer to him as number 06452-017.
Okay.
That was well played.
That was good. You were waiting for that, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's the only thing I'm giving you tonight.
There's more. There's more in store, people.
Oh, I believe it. Like I said, the entire time, I think that we would have started on the creation thing, but it would have quickly, and it will.
Oh, it's going to devolve.
No.
It's going to devolve.
Don't expect stability.
Yeah, I love civil conversation, and I'm all for it. But when it comes to this, it's a free for all. Just let it happen. Let the bloodbath begin.
This wasn't going to be immature. I want people to understand that.
Oh, no, not at all.
This was going to be reasoned arguments.
Absolutely.
But it was going to be cutting.
Which is what it needs to be.
It has to be.
And
I agree.
I know one thing. I was I was going to let it kind of play out because I didn't want to seem like there was any kind of bias on our end, because you want a fair discussion or whatever. But I think that's after this whole escapade, I don't see how I can, if Aaron starts going after him, I don't see how I can try to.
Well, there's a difference between fair and biased. Okay, look I'm fair. I am a fair moderator. That's what I want my platform. That's what I want for the non sequitur show. I believe in being fair. However, that doesn't mean you don't have to be biased. I am very much biased against Kent. Kent knows this. This is not talking behind his back. People have complained. Steve,
is it fair to call that a bias? Wouldn't a bias mean that you've already prejudged it?
Well, I have prejudged him. I think he's a con man. I mean, that's just.
But is that a prejudgment?
Okay, that's after the fact judgment. That's a conclusion. It's not a conclusion. Sure enough. Okay, fair enough. We won't use the word biased, but I don't hold that against him in a fair form, right? I don't use that against him. I want to have actual conversation. But if anybody asks me, do you believe Ken Hovind? No, I do not. I think that he's absolutely wrong across the board. I don't have to be neutral on that, because people have complained, Steve, how can you be a moderator if you're not neutral? I only need to be neutral during the discussion to both parties and make sure that they have equal time and that they're fair to each other. I do not have to.
Let me address to people who would say that to you. How do you find someone that is neutral on whether you accept reality or not?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how I would even work around that.
If you can find me a judge who says they can be neutral on that question, give me 20 minutes on a live video feed with them. I'll fix that.
We'll make it happen.
He did on the video Aron Ron in the house. That was excellent. The way that there was a lack of kind of powerhouse facts, I guess you would call it, until Aron stepped in, and it was it quickly went from a chill in the room to burning up very quickly.
Thank you very much.
I want to say really quick too. I'm your message. All of you guys' messages are coming through. I appreciate the words of support, saying that it's not on us or whatever. I still somehow feel kind of responsible, for letting you guys down. And we're gonna. Well, you know what I mean. It's kind of feels like I didn't deliver what was hyped up, because we hyped it up, and I feel like we kind of.
Well, in all fairness, I know that you hyped it up, and I was listening to the promos and everything, and I'm like, they're doing this, they're billing this like it's a cage match in Thunderdome or something.
Yeah,
but
it kind of felt that way.
But I want to tell you straight up, I've wanted this confrontation for 20 years, and I came armed. So well,
you'll be able to use those weapons and that ammo. We'll make this happen. I give you my word on that. We will make it happen. I'm still talking to Steve. We're going to arrange something, obviously, in the future when you guys have the ability to do so. I don't know why Steve's telling me right now that Kent is out, quote, in the sticks. He's out somewhere, and I'm like, wait a minute here. He was aware we were doing this. Why would he be somewhere right now where there's no signal? Go to frickin' Starbucks. I had to go to my ex-girlfriend's house where I'm at right now in order to do this. I made the arrangements ahead of time, and he did not.
Get the fuck out of here with that. Nobody's buying that.
To quote my cousin Vinny, "You're in Alabama."
But
I mean, God,
you've had this planned for days. Why would you go somewhere where you had?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, dude.
There's something else. There's something else to it. I mean,
there need to be a loss for words. Something is seriously wrong.
There's got to be. But back to what I was saying. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna make it work. Now it will even be more tense, I guess, because of the way that tonight has played out. But I really do appreciate the nice words. We're gonna make it up to you guys, and
I want to apologize to everybody I want to apologize for everybody that is disappointed. Understand that I am too. So, I'm
as we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do appreciate, Aron, your patience. I'm actually going to put this squarely on Kent and his IT guy. I think we did all we could do to make this happen. I don't find that we had any fault in what occurred. We made arrangements. We had planned on this quite for some time. And to find out that Kent is somewhere in Boondock, and has no signal or something now, I have no idea.
And another program, and didn't tell his IT guy until before.
It's just not making sense to me across the board.
How many crazy fucking excuses do you have to spew out before? I mean, we're not buying it. We are not buying it. You ran off.
Dude, he thinks the Earth is 7,000 years old. So
yeah, but that's not. I mean, that's not.
He doesn't actually think that. Let's be fair. If you show up with a TARDIS, seriously. If you saw a TARDIS materialize and I step out and say, hey, would you like to go back with me 25,000 years or 25 million years? He would not get in the damn thing, because he knows as well as I do where we're going to go.
25,000 years ago.
Exactly.
Drop mic. Yeah. Drop mic.
No, I'm there with you on that. I think at this point, I don't like reading the motive.
What this amounts to, seriously, is that Kent can't make as much selling used cars as he can doing this. And snake oil isn't legal to sell anymore. So you pitch this thing, and then you have people who donate thousands or sometimes tens of thousands of dollars to your cause, so that you don't have to get a job and you can have country property somewhere in rural Alabama. And then you get busloads of volunteers to come and build your property.
Slave labor.
Exactly. You don't pay anybody. All you do is sit there in your Hawaiian shirt in front of your webcam and make these videos every week.
Do you notice that he actually puts that out there? He'll be like, hey, come on down. We'll put you to work, as he's proud of it.
Yeah. So, and in all fairness, I want to say that I, too, am supported entirely by patrons, patron support, and I very much appreciate this. I'm a full-time activist, and if anybody likes what I do, please go to my Patreon channel, patreon.com/ARONRA. I had, until yesterday, 666 patrons. But you always lose some at the end of the month, and so like I think it's I have 659, and just for giggles, I would love to get back up to 666 because it made me laugh, and I do actually need all the support that I can get. I don't make that much, and I really do appreciate everyone's support. So please, if you like what I do, please consider donating $1 per video. That works out to $6 a month. I usually do 2 podcast interviews. At least one of them will be featuring or spotlighting somebody who is progressive and is actually taking action to do things to make things better. I'm tired of listening to people complain. I want to talk to people who are enacting solutions, not just suggesting them. Then I also do my educational videos. Of course, I do the systematic classification of life, which we were supposed to be talking about tonight. And what other series do I do? Oh, yes, I'm now doing the Pratt list, which I uploaded the 4th Pratt list item today, which is the one I thought Hovind was going to want to talk about because it addressed a lot of what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had all those links prepared on the other feed. I will include them in this particular video, and I will also additionally throw in that Patreon link for your page in the video description, but I won't be able to do that till later on tonight. So when people watch this video later on, all those links will be available. Please support Aron. I'm very much pro Patreon. I think that people would put a lot of work in, whether it be for our channel, Aron's channel, Holy Kool-Aid, and a lot of the other people out there that have worked very hard to build a very good community of skeptics, atheists, free thought. And so I want to get you to 666, man. Hail Satan.
I also want to throw in a pitch just to back what you just said. For Holy Kool-Aid and for y'all, very good work. Seriously, I just support all around, if you would.
And I wanted to piggyback on that and give a special thanks to Holy Kool-Aid too. He has been right there with us today.
Backup plan. He was there for us.
And Thomas, we appreciate every second that both of you guys. I mean, we just started 2 months ago, so I mean, you didn't have to. It doesn't benefit you to be here or doing this. So we really appreciate you guys being awesome and for everything that you do. And I wish that we were able to showcase kind of tonight the that it is evidence based and that
I was determined to give a good show.
You will,
yeah,
and you will.
You will.
We will. We will make this happen. I telling our viewers, the people that have supported the Non Sequitur show, and all the content creators, we will make this happen. If I have to go down and freaking knock on Ken's door with a microphone,
and get ready, because those trailers that Aron thought sounded like a cage match before are going to be like Gladiator in the Coliseum now.
I don't like hype.
Well, we do.
Really.
We do.
But yeah,
so it's been over 20 minutes now since he said his program would be done in 20 minutes.
Wait, question. How is he doing a program if his IT guy is telling me he's in the middle of nowhere, quote, he's in the sticks and he has no signal?
Yeah, well, you're just trying to find lies, which
it's not necessarily a tech program.
It's kind of like looking for a straw in a bale of straw.
How is he going to spin this? That's what I want tomorrow on his little Q&A show.
He said he was doing a podcast somewhere, and then he was out in the sticks.
Oh, no, I can tell you right now he's going to spin it. Oh, Aron Rod chickened out. That's what he's going to say.
Well, I mean, that would be just ridiculous. That would be like believing that the Earth is 6,000 years old.
Yeah, exactly. The man walked with dinosaurs.
They didn't walk with dinosaurs. They rode them.
Maybe the fact that his IT is all completely out of whack is why he has such a difficult time coming up with the
I have a
conceptualizing order from disorder.
I have a suggestion.
I think that you're onto it right there.
Yeah, I got a suggestion. See, he's not that far from Pensacola, and I know someone in Pensacola who has a full-on professional studio.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I can get my ass to Pensacola pretty quick.
There we go. Oh, Kent Hovind, you have been the gauntlet has been laid out for you, sir. How will you respond?
We won't know. He's wandering around chasing Sasquatch right now.
Oh man,
He's up chasing the Falk monster.
Well, anyways, I think we should thank our viewers. We had a lot of people prepared. I mean, 200 some odd people were watching before we even started. 500 people almost showed up for this. So we do thank them. We sincerely apologize for the fact that this did not transpire the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, I bought Imperial Stout special for tonight.
I got 2 rock stars, dude. I was caffeinated as hell. I was ready to sit back and just listen and go, yeah.
Aron keeps breaking my heart because he keeps saying like, I've got this beer ready, I came prepared, and now I feel like you're sitting over there with your beer and you're angry and you have no outlet now.
As if anyone ever needed an excuse to drink beer.
I could ring up Ray Comfort right now. We can try to get him.
I started this evening with La Fin du Monde, which is a Belgian Tripel by Unibrow.
Whoa, sounds awesome.
And I followed that with a local microbrew, Lakewood Temptress, which is an Imperial Milk Stout, both 9.5 ABV. So I
have one more of those, and then we'll get Nephilim free in here, and you can.
No, Aron's going to say Nephilim who?
No. I want to share a story about that. Please.
Can you, before we go off air, I got to do this. Aron, can you briefly tell us again? Do you remember back when Aron, when Nephilim Free for some reason thinks he's worth having a debate with, and you had to try to explain him on your Facebook that you don't even know the frick he is basically, and that nobody put him up to be nominated, and we have no reason to ever have a discussion with him. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Don't go off air yet, Steve, because Aron was about to tell a hilarious story about.
It might be the same story. In fact,
I think it might be the same story.
Yeah, because I talked to Nephilim Free once upon a time many years ago, back in the days of Blog Talk TV, I think it was called, or Blog TV, something like that. Yeah. Who remembers? It was too long ago. But at some point, I get a message from Nephilim Free that says something like, "Hey, you're still out there. You know why you failed? You know why no one's ever heard of you? I haven't heard of you in like 7 years. Nobody's ever mentioned your name. And the reason that you are so obscure now and forgotten is because I bested you." And this is Nephilim telling me that he bested me back on Blog TV back in the day, and that's why nobody's heard of me since.
Wow.
And I posted something about this on my Facebook, and I said, I know how grossly narcissistic this is going to sound, but
I would just like to point out right now that Nephilim Free has 7,000 subscribers and Aron Ra has almost 164,000.
And I could point out, and I don't want to compare sizes here real quick though, but when Aron does a live feed, he'll generally get about 500, 600, 800 people watching. When Nephilim does, he gets about 6. And let me point this out, and I hate to say this, but if you guys can fault me for this, but the only reason Nephilim Free is even on air anymore is because I sat down, due to the gracious agnostic heart that I have, and I explained to him how to figure out how to get back online after all these changes about 3 months ago. He was off air for a year because he couldn't figure out how to run a hangout.
But
sorry guys. But yeah,
there's another alarming fact. If he stands up to go to the restroom and forgets to turn his camera off, you will all see his Fruit of the Looms.
Ooh, no.
Oh,
if you search for his channel, like the top 4 videos are like DPR Jones, Thunderfoot, Concordance, King Croc. Like they're all takedown videos.
Yeah, he said I tried to
Thomas
me
had
too.
the most shocking statement of the night, I think, and that was that Nephi had 7,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I know how shamelessly narcissistic this sounded, but the way that Nephi had said this, I couldn't not take that bait to respond this way. I mean,
it was hilarious.
I told him that I had been on radio in 3 different countries, and on TV in 2 different countries, and that I had been to 22 countries in total.
Hey, Aron, what if we got Venom Fang X in here?
Venom Fang X is another matter because he's I want to say this appropriately. He needs help.
Oh, bring him in.
Yeah, he needs clinical help, and Nephi kind of does too. But I just have a lot less sympathy for Nephi.
Yeah, Netflix still invites me to hangouts all the time, but I'm in the same boat. I'm like, I just have no interest in having discussions with him. It doesn't do me any
Who
good.
said that?
What's that?
Who said that? That G-Man's live stream was about.
Aron. Yeah, well, I just had a notification in my email, something about G-Man. Something
is that over?
Something.
'Cause
Oh, I have no idea. I wasn't watching.
I'm still looking for a fight.
Let's see.
Oh my God, is Aron cranky right now? He wants G-Man to come in. I get G-Man to come in. Don't tap
Let's see
me,
if he's
brother.
still live.
Is he up?
We're gonna find out.
All right.
We can just go atheist experience style and just, if you're a creationist, call this number on your screen.
Yeah.
We
have a call-in number actually. The prefix is 666.
Hey,
yeah.
Stevie,
it's 666 something. I don't know where the hell the number
That
is.
is
Stevie's
such
not live.
Atheist experience happened across a plan that was so absolutely beautiful to have random believers anonymously call in and just refute their arguments. You know, you can't make a personal attack. You don't know anything about them. You know, you're just literally just dealing with the substance of the argument that they bring. I love that.
Yeah.
And who doesn't
that's a great format they
want to
have.
participate in that? You know, it's a sad thing. The last time I was on the Atheist Experience, which years ago, and my daughter happened to be in the studio audience, and I was thinking, you know, this is how great. How often is it do you get to show off for your kids, right? And so I'm on the show, and every call we got that day was, "Hey, I just wanted to say what you guys are doing is really great, and you know, keep being really great. Appreciate it much." Yeah, well, yeah, thanks. That's really boring TV. Much as
I'm sorry, Aron. I was
appreciate all
give
the
an update.
sentiment and everything, but that's not why we're here. You know, and so we finally got a single believer to call in literally the last minute of the show. We're like, where the hell were you an hour? We could have worked an hour on you.
Yeah. I have an update from Mr. Hovind.
Yes.
And it says that okay.
Breathe deep. Take
We
a deep.
recorded our side and we'll post it.
What? I'm done. I'm out. I give up. The internet is officially broken.
We recorded our side and we'll post it on the Kent Hovind official soon. We have a lousy signal and maybe it will evolve and improve with time.
Well,
Please
maybe it'll
contact
evolve
Steve
and
to
improve in
reschedule.
time if we're both live in the same studio in Pensacola. How about that?
That is let me make sure I got that.
You know what? You couldn't even make this shit up if you tried. This is just like comical TV.
And Aron, I'm working on getting you your
People are in the live feed go like, "Stop the planet! I want off." No shit. You know, I'm like, you know, if there's another planet that we can go to, let's do it. I mean, this one's had it. We're done.
Yeah, I want to throw something else out since you just mentioned that. My wife is always looking for places to move because she's sick of Texas, and one of the places she looked at was Norway. And I love Norway; it looks just like Washington State. But she found a place that just like an hour or so out of Oslo that was advertising for American immigrants to move to Norway if they want to flee Trump.
sign me up. Sign me up for that.
I just had a message from somebody from Norway today. They were looking forward to this event, and they messaged me.
So
Steve?
you know how other countries get a brain drain where all of their doctors and engineers and stuff immigrate to the US to, you know, have better jobs. Well, with Trump in office, it's almost like now we have, you know, a drain of any kind of a liberal minded or progressive person out to places like Norway. Is that what's in store for us now?
Probably, I would think.
Yeah, I really did enjoy Norway a lot. I mean, what I saw in Norway was what I used to see in America in the 1970s. I would see tribes of kids, children, you know, on their bicycles, out riding together on their bicycles, you know, with no adult supervisions, no cell phones. You know, it's just the way I was when I was a kid. I mean, nobody looks around and sees kids in America that are still like that. right? That are safe for their kids to go run around like that. And just the environment and the intelligence, it just, the people can have a conversation, and make sense. That's nice. And as I said, it looks like Washington State. I took a train ride from Oslo to Trondheim, and it was absolutely beautiful. You have your camera ready because they don't warn you when all the waterfalls are passing by, and there were a lot of them. That was gorgeous. And then the airport for Trondheim is not in Trondheim. It's in another town called Hell. And Hell is gorgeous. And the hotel, the hotel, Scandic Hell, is an excellent hotel. And there's a pool on the 7th floor, and nobody was in it. And so we took advantage of that. With huge bay windows so that you can see the fjords and you can see the mountains. And on the mountain, there's this big sign that says Hell. And I love it when I walked in the building. I walked into the building carrying the luggage and everything. There's this pretty little blonde girl behind the counter. She hands us our room keys and she goes, "Welcome to Hell."
That would never happen here. That would never happen in America. We can't even handle the 13 in elevators because that freaks people out. I mean, we literally skip over putting a 13 on a floor.
Yeah,
even though
I can recommend
floor.
I recommend the Scandic Hotel if you're in that area. The breakfast buffet is awesome, but be sure to check out the pool, and the showers also have a bay view of the fjord. It's really nice. Go see.
Field trip. Steve, where we at on the little surprise? I think he's talking to him.
Yeah, no, I'm calling him right now. Hang on.
Oh.
It would seem his mailbox is full. I sent him a message. Yeah, I don't know who calls. Wait a minute, how is G-Man's phone full? Is he that popular? I'm sorry, really?
But
Really?
his latest video is entitled Aron Ra's Ignorance.
Yeah,
and it was streamed 13 minutes ago.
Yeah.
All right. I think that this calls for a bucket of atomic wings, and whichever is the hottest wings that they sell right now. That's how I'm going to spend my evening.
Was it a habanero or ghost pepper?
Do they do ghost pepper yet?
I don't know. I can't eat that. I got issues. I love spicy food. It hates me with a passion.
No, I got over that. I built up my tolerance of capsaicin to the point that it became an addiction.
Yeah, I like capsaicin a lot. That's the problem. And then it didn't like me, and I can't handle it now.
Yeah, I made some chili this week that was really good for weight loss. Because
been there.
When the chili goes, it takes some internal organs with it.
You lose a kidney here. You lose part of your intestines there. Yep, exactly.
That's how whole text does that.
You leave imprints on the porcelain. You have like the fingerprints on the bottom of the bear or the bowl.
Yeah, we went to a place. I can't remember it was a convention for spicy foods, and so we bought a bunch of sauces of scorpion. No, we didn't get scorpion pepper. It was ghost pepper, and so we have some ghost pepper sauce. And I don't really like, I'm sad to say, I don't really like the flavor, but it doesn't help my chili. But we do have some other spices that are crazy hot, but really have good flavor to them. And I'm improving my chili skills because I want people to respect it.
Well, do you know what Kyle's secret talent is, Aron? Do you happen to know Kyle's background?
What's that?
Kyle, why don't you tell him? Come on.
I was a chef for 12 years. So you are speaking my language, and
something he understands. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't follow the me and Steve kind of we butt heads sometimes on the in the philosophy world, I guess, because I'm not in it. I'm just I don't know the terms and the fallacies and all that. I just come from this is my opinion. This is how I feel, and I don't look at it in depth like that. So I have kind of that side. So when we can talk about food, then I'm your man. But if it in terms of fallacies or what was it, Steve, that you said that one day, the P and N and Q equals what was that long equation that you gave me? It has something to do with the definition of agnostic.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to get in all that.
That conversation.
Yeah, not going to get in all that. It's just it's a proposition. That's all.
Yeah.
I'd
I'd rather talk about the Drake equation. I had a great discussion with that.
I don't like to argue philosophy for two reasons. One, I like to talk about what I know, and I readily confess I've never studied philosophy. And two, is I only see philosophy misused.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I see a lot of people using it as a weapon.
Yeah, well, I see it used especially by idealists, and that doesn't have the positive connotation that some people think that it might have. I've encountered people, apologists, who think that all of reality is in your own mind.
Yeah, idealism.
Yeah. And
monistic idealism, especially like when the mind of God. Weird.
Yeah, and so I have to get, if I'm going to debate somebody, if I'm going to argue a point with somebody, I want to come to the common ground that reality really is real. Can we at least agree on that?
Yeah, if you can't start there, where can you go, right? I mean, I'm fine with accepting reality as an axiom if people want to do that, but you have to accept that reality is real.
Well, oftentimes apologists will live their entire lives under the assumption that it's real, but as soon as they have to defend a particular sticky point, then they revert back to philosophical, mushy ground and mushy areas like that, where it's much easier to defend if, nothing's even, your reality is not even, reality.
You can't know anything.
Yeah.
The inner solipsism of solipsism.
Before I go, I just want to bring up one other thing, that during the first half hour or so that there were technical problems, and the technical problems were that Kent Hovind couldn't figure out how to Skype. Okay, so during the first half hour, while Kent was following the sheep around the yard or whatever the hell it is they do in Alabama, while his IT guy, who didn't find out about this until 90 minutes earlier, although he knew about it 3 days earlier, is still trying to figure out how to Skype. Kent then gets onto another show, and he does this other show for 20 minutes, and the other show is done without an internet connection, somewhere out in the sticks where no one can contact him. So he's apparently broadcasting with the use of a handheld, I don't know, Magic 8-ball. And somehow with that technology, with no internet access, and while doing another show, he recorded his half of this conversation.
And uploaded it.
And uploaded
it with no internet.
He had to wait till his armadillo got a good signal.
Without knowing anything that I was going to ask him or tell him.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Nothing about this makes sense to me at all. Just absolutely nothing.
No,
I'm at a loss.
It's you can't even comprehend it. Like, there's so many.
It's bizarre.
He went so many directions in 30 minutes that my mind can't handle it. I mean, just the program, the time frame. He didn't know this here. He didn't know this here, even though I made a video of it last week. The point about I just can't even think right now.
Yeah, you know what? I got to tell you, though, I thoroughly enjoyed this, even though it wasn't what we expected. But I think it turned out decently enough for the fact we all had a good conversation.
Oh, no, I promise you. The 400 people that show up here expecting to see a bloodbath, it would have happened.
Oh, yes.
It will happen.
Oh, it will happen. And we will make it happen. And they will show up again, hopefully. We're not done with this.
Yeah. Our original audience is back.
Yeah, this might be the 2018, big drama of YouTube making this arrangement with Aron and Kent. It might be a long-standing thing that people are going to be talking about for a very long time, because nothing Kent has said or the IT guy has said makes sense at this point. And I will have a long conversation.
When did Kent ever say anything in his career that made sense?
Fair enough. But, this isn't even dealing with creationism. I mean, it's not even dealing with that nonsense. This is just simple. How do you figure out Skype? How do you get online? How do you have not have a signal when you're doing this other program? How do you record a response to what? What does he record?
Understand how evolution works. Evolution is a simple concept. If you can't grasp that, figuring out Skype is like miles ahead.
I would agree, but he does a show every day.
I don't know where it went because I don't know where it went because it scrolled up too fast, but I happened to glance over and somebody said, "How can life exist without a heart pumping blood?" You know that bacteria don't have a heart, right? You know that jellyfish don't have a heart, right?
Guess they're not
Jellyfish
alive.
are animals, and there's one species of jellyfish that can live forever, and it doesn't have a heart. It
The
does
immo- the
have, and
immortal
you'll love this,
jellyfish?
it doesn't have blood, and it doesn't have a heart, but it does have a heartbeat. Go figure that out.
That's
And
crazy.
I explain that in my series on the systematic classification of life. I can't remember off the top of my head which episode it is, but if you want to understand evolution and how it works, please go watch the systematic classification of life. It's a series of so far 24 different episodes, and it will help answer that question that was just asked.
And you're
Wouldn't plants
to
be an
mammals
example
now, by
too?
the way, aren't you? Real quick, you're at mammals, are you not?
Just got to
Finally?
mammals, yes, and I
There you
can't
go.
wait to do the
Awesome.
next episode because it's fun too, because it
Because
gets
we
into
are
divisions of
mammal.
mammals as well as the end of the Triassic and a number of other things.
Plants would be
okay.
considered in that too, right?
I'm sorry?
Plants would be considered an example too of something without a heartbeat.
Yeah,
they're
well,
alive.
yeah, and fungi and
No, not according to
protein-
creationists. Creationists have actually ran the argument that plants were not alive because, you know, before the fall, you couldn't have had anything, couldn't have death, therefore plants could not be alive. They've actually ran
There's
that argument.
Get the
okay,
fuck outta here.
interesting argument with that, and this is something that I was sure was going to come up this evening, and I brought it up with the younger, or should I say, lesser Hovind, and that was Eric. I brought up to him that, you know, when you say that there was no death before the fall, why was that other tree? Because there's the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? You eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is obviously a metaphor. I mean, clearly the people who wrote the story, the people who made this story up, did not expect people to believe that there was a tree that you could cut down and make a canoe out of, okay? We knew that this was metaphor, but God had to get them out of the Garden of Eden, because if he didn't get them out quickly, then they might eat of the fruit of the tree of eternal life.
Mm-hmm.
So they had not yet eaten of the fruit of the tree of eternal life. So
Interesting. What was his response? How did he answer that?
he didn't. And he's on video not saying anything.
It could be an ongoing thing where you have to continually get, you know, food from this tree in order to remain immortal.
Well, then
Like
it's not
Mario.
eternal life.
Like
then, is
Mario.
it?
Yeah, I don't understand any of that stuff.
You realize that if
don't.
you had enough frozen packets of lean cuisine, that could count as the fruit of the tree of eternal life, because you could always just eat those and keep going. But if you ever ran out, you'd starve.
That's a good marketing campaign for them, Aron. You might want to capitalize on that. Might be a winner.
All right, guys, this has
Yeah,
been a bucket of chocolate, even though it wasn't what I was expecting. And I want to apologize like everybody else. I'm sorry, everyone, that what was supposed to happen didn't. But don't worry, Kent's recorded his version with no internet connection, recorded on the back of a goat in the wilderness in Alabama,
Oh,
while
man.
doing someone else's podcast with no internet connection. And it's apparently his IT guy didn't know about that until 10 minutes after it happened, or 3 days before, or both, whichever you like.
Yeah,
We're
I have
gonna
a feeling
have
this could be
part
talked
one
about
and
for
two of
quite some
this.
time.
Part 1 and 2 of this, I think. Part 1 is going to be just explaining what happened tonight. I think that will be an entire debate right there.
Yeah.
Or not debate.
It
Sorry.
does seem that due to technical issues, you know, I mean,
As I get more information, I will disseminate it out to people. I will keep people aware of it. We will obviously try to reschedule something. We'll make something happen. There's no
given the
question about
conflicts
that,
and the contradictions that you've already gotten this evening, can you fairly call it information anymore?
but, disinformation.
Nonsense.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I've done this for a while. I have never experienced this level of complexity from any guest or any type of thing we've tried to arrange. I mean, we arrange things all the time. We have 3-4 things going on every week. Our podcast has taken off tremendously. We have a lot of guests we make arrangements with. We work our ass off to get people and to get these events happening. I have not ever experienced anything like this before.
It would be easier
can I
for
tell
him.
you that the work you put into the show actually does show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to give you credit for that. It is the way you guys promoted and everything. Star on.
We appreciate that a lot.
Yeah,
That
I
is worth-
second that.
That is worth the evening right there. I think that makes up for me anyway, the disappointment. That I appreciate that, guys.
I am disappointed too, but that definitely makes it up. And
Yeah.
let's wrap this up. I'm gonna let Kyle take us out, but I just want to say to everybody who was watching, thank you guys so much. You guys have made this amazing. The fact that so many people have showed up for this, so many people have spread the word on this on the trailers. People shared. I'm humbled by the fact that people have listened to our podcast. They've liked the conversations. They enjoyed, having Seth on from the Thinking Atheist. We had Pam on from American Atheist. Great guest, by the way. And we have a lot more in store with her. Kyle, can you want to like talk about that a little bit? Or are you going to leave that?
Yeah, I'll just real quick.
I'm going to leave it over to you, but I just want to thank my audience and for everybody. Please subscribe to the Non Sequitur Show. Subscribe to Aron, Patreon to Aron. Holy Kool-Aid, especially, I want to thank you. You were a great backup for this. You were a trooper, and you had our back on it. And
it's been a total pleasure. And before you wrap it up, I want to leave people with a thought that if God says that He'll never leave you and forsake you, then why is it that Kent Hovind's IT stuff flaked out on him, but it somehow worked for all the atheists?
Ooh, that's a good. Ooh,
yeah. I don't know if I can top that, but
you're gonna have to try because I'm leaving with you, son.
Because science works, bitches.
Kyle, go ahead, take us out.
Real quick, just real quick. We've got coming up as far as episodes wise. Next Monday, we have Anthony Magnabosco, Street
Epistemology.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. He will be. We're going to be going through that with him on Monday. We have Nate Dern from FunnyOrDie.com. He's the senior writer for that, to come on Wednesday to talk about his new book, Not Quite a Genius. And then something special that we're going to do every week. We've got Pam Whistle from the American Atheist. She's their membership director. She's been on two or three times before, but we're going to actually every week get together and play you the latest hate mail, the voicemail, read the emails, the mean tweets that American Atheists get, and kind of go through that. We did a test run today, and it is hilarious. The voicemails that they get are incredible. So
I peed myself. It was so funny.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, once again, apologize for the lack of producing a Hovind tonight, but again, thank you, Aron, and thank you, Holy Kool-Aid. You guys rock, and so do you guys for sticking with us, even though it wasn't quite what we expected. But we will make it happen, guaranteed. And yeah, you guys have a good night, and thanks again.
Thank you all for watching. Good night.